Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ladies Room Talk Show. I'm Clarissa Kenty, your Kingdom concierge. We're so excited about you being here today. It's a great Monday and happy summertime. I think it's officially summer. I know the temperature certainly says that. It's 101 degrees, I think is what it topped out today. Very, very hot. And I was blessed not to really be out in it that much. But hey, nevertheless, it's a great day to be alive and among the living. So, again, happy Monday to you. We're going to have a really good show here tonight. But before we get started, certainly want to give a big shout out to my little brother, my little big brother, because he's 6'2", 6'3". So, still a little brother to me. Pastor Martin Lester, or Clarence Martin Lester Sr. He's named after my dad. So glad that he came into the Ladies Room Talk Show on last week. And let me tell you, he really had a superb response to his show on last week. My brother lost his firstborn last year to complications of muscular dystrophy. And he is a year out, and we're talking about what God did for him in healing him, restoring his heart, and showing him a new way of life with the absence of his firstborn. And so he really gave a spectacular testimony on last week. And if you missed that, we certainly want you to come back to the Ladies Room or go over to the Ladies Room Talk Show, go in, scroll up a little bit, and you will see that show. Clarence Martin Lester Jr. Is was the guest on last week, and let me tell you, a blessing to all of those who are dealing with issues and dealing with loss. It may not necessarily be a loss of a loved one, but it may be a loss of any type of way: a job, a friendship, a relationship. It could be a loss of something great, a contract, any type of loss that you may have experienced at some point in time. Certainly, this is a good opportunity to take a listen to that podcast, because certainly it was life changing for so many people and really blessed a lot of people. So I was really, really excited about that. So, and again, we want to make sure you're staying hydrated out there and making sure you're drinking a lot of water, because it's hot. Not only is it hot, but it's very, very dry outside. So you probably want to water that grass at night, because it's very hot during the day. And if you water your grass and your flowers and your bedding early in the morning, it's going to have the possibility of scorching your water. Your grass is going to scorch your plants and all of that during the day. And I do have a little bit of vegetation that I'm working with, some herbs and that sort of thing. And so what I'm doing is watering them at night. I did lose one plant, but I think it was a little negligence too, but it just could not withstand what was going on in the temperature. So make sure that you are hydrating and doing everything that you can to stay safe, because it is some really interesting temperatures out there, and you want to be mindful of that. So tonight, I have a great, amazing woman that's going to be stepping inside the Ladies Room show here tonight. Now, I'm very surprised, because this is her first time stepping into the Ladies Room Talk Show. But certainly, it is our desire that it's not her last time, but it is her first time. And we want to give her a virtual key now, so that she can use that key whenever she wants to come and talk and just share. She's a beautiful soul. I've been watching her for a while. I've been following her story, and I certainly want her to share that story on the platform here tonight. So, Christine Law, welcome to the Ladies Room Talk Show. Welcome, sister. How's it going?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to share. Thank you.
Yes, and I know you just got through with the class, so you're kind of running a little bit. So I'm just glad that you were able to take out a little bit of time to hang out with us tonight. So we're really excited about that. So, Christine, tell my listening audience a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what you have going on.
Okay, so my name is Christine Law. I'm the owner of Inside Out Health, Wellness, and Fitness. That's a gym located in Bessemer, Alabama, where I am a personal trainer, group instructor, as well as doing a lot of partnerships here in the community because we are transitioning into a community center.
Very good. And you are also an author.
Yes, self-published author. It's hard, now you're trying to like pitch that book, but this is my baby. So it feels so good to be able to come onto your platform and share my testimony about victory over alcoholism. I was just very
Mm.
transparent about my walk with the struggles that I faced, but also how God was able to just save me, literally. He's always been there, but for me to establish that relationship with him was everything for my victory.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm so I think she got cut off there, but hopefully she'll jump back in. But it we were really blessed to have her on the show because I believe, Christine, that there are so many people who are dealing with some form of anxiety, who's dealing with emotional issues, and they really have a hard time trying to get a hold and a handle to it. And
Right.
some people will refer to some other types of substances to help curve that emotional imbalance. And some people refer to drugs, some people refer to prescription drugs, marijuana, or some other type of illegal sources out there, and also alcoholism. And
Right.
so I think that by you sharing your testimony, it's going to give people an opportunity to say, hey, there is a way out for you. There is a way of escape. And so I'm so excited that you wrote this book, and I'm glad about your transparency. Now,
Thank
one thing you didn't mention, Christine, is, and I followed this story, is that there is a friend of mine, Jerome Skinner. He
you.
and
Yeah.
I used to go to church together, and we were also in several plays together as well. And so I watched the story of you donating a kidney to him. He was in a bad space at that time with his kidneys, and they failed on him. And so you felt compelled to donate a kidney to someone that, from my understanding now, you did not know him. You heard about the story. I think we have some issues with her connection, so she's gonna pop back on. But guys, she did not know Jerome, and from based on what I'm understanding, and you decided you were compelled by the story, you were compelled by his need, and you jumped in to donate to him. Is that correct?
Yes, and I know every time I say it, people do like this double take, like, wait, I didn't just hear that. But for me, I'd have to say that is a part of the testimony when it comes to all that I've been through and then being able to be a blessing to someone else when
Mhm.
it comes to being a kidney donor. The way I got connected to Jerome in that capacity was literally scrolling Facebook.
Mm.
And I saw Jerome's post saying, I am praying and believing for a kidney donor. So when I saw the post, immediately I believe God was saying, you are his donor in that
Yes.
moment of me seeing his post.
Mhm.
So I talking to God, I said, God, I have to make sure that I'm hearing you properly. So I prayed on that,
Mm.
and I waited. It was about 3 days. And God confirmed it and said, you are his donor. And that's when I reached out to Jerome and I told him, I said, I'm going to do it. And he was just like, what? And from there, when I say all medical tests, everything came back with no problems, no issues.
Mhm.
I was his donor and I am.
Wow. And some things, people do things sometimes because they want accolades. They want people to see what they've done. And sometimes they'll do things just to get that type of honor. But for you to do something like that, there is no way that you would do something to that magnitude just to get honor because you're literally giving up a kidney for someone you do not know.
Yeah,
And that's a confirmation what God told you to do that, and then it followed up with the exact match. That
exact
truly,
match.
yeah, yeah, that was truly God, and that was such a selfless act, for you to do something in that magnitude, and I was so amazed with the story, and I continue to follow you in doing various things from that point on, and I'm like, "You know what? That's my girl right there," and we've never really met per se,
Yeah.
but I just followed you ever since that time, which is a couple of years ago now. But ever since you did that, I just followed you, and I was like, man, I said that was something that was huge. That was huge. I felt in my book, and it
Yeah.
really lets me know the type of person that you are and the character that you carry and that you hear from God. And so I'm very excited about that, and just knowing the type of person that you are. And so now that I'm learning more about Christine and what she's doing. And now you have this amazing book, 10 Years in a Bottle. And so
Yeah.
let's jump into that a little bit, Christine, and let's tell the listening audience about that book and about those 10 years.
Okay. So this is something that I love sharing right now. Technically, this is a relaunch. I actually published this book in 2017. And when I published this book, it was scary to put out there and be transparent about literally all of the shortcomings, the failures, the setbacks. Because, like you just said, a lot of times people tend to use social media or these different platforms and it's to shine. This right here is putting myself out there to say, hey, I didn't get it right. And I didn't get it right multiple times. But there is a God, our God, who loves us unconditionally. And because of that love, I was able to overcome all of the challenges that I faced. And I had to, I had to.
All right, she's gonna pop back in, guys. She's just having some issues there with some of her connections. So she's popping back. When it happens, when she clicks
Oh,
off, she comes right back in. So
oh,
yeah, you're
okay.
kind of popping on and off there. So
Okay, I'm sorry.
yeah, that's good.
Okay. Um, so I'm not sure what I do apologize what
It's
you
okay.
heard last.
Mhm. We're I can't remember now, but I know where I want you to jump to
Okay.
is what caused you to take that first drink
Okay.
and what kept you in it to become abusive.
Okay. Um, so something as soon as the book even starts, I jump right in as far as like the childhood trauma that I had actually dealt with. And with that trauma and with that childhood trauma, I had to deal with things from molestation,
Mm.
being violated by my babysitter. And this is someone, of course, the family.
Yeah, she's gonna come back on, and I'm gonna remember where she stopped this time. So, okay. Hey, Christine.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I hate to interrupt like this.
That's
Okay.
okay. All right.
I'm
So
going to
yeah,
try to.
you stopped where you were molested by your babysitter, I believe.
Okay. So when there's a lot of childhood trauma that you can be dealing with and not knowing how to cope, not understanding how to heal and be able to truly move on from them things and understand why they happen to you, I internalize those things. And
Mm.
so with that, I just wanted to go numb. So I turned to alcohol to be able to go numb and say, you know what? I don't have all of the answers, but I do know how to try to temporarily escape this. When that was a lie, I
Mm.
wasn't escaping anything. I was just creating a bigger problem, which was the alcohol.
So, Christine, when would you say? Because there may be people out there who are delusional, and they may feel like, oh, I just drink, every now and then, but they may not realize that it's gone into an abusive state. And so I'm
Right.
glad that you're on here and I'm glad that you're transparent because I believe that there are people out here that may be headed that way and don't realize it. And
Right.
so when you say it was covering up some old wounds that you may not have been healed from, or issues and problems that you were still feeling, but you were never really delivered from that hurt and pain. So when
Right.
you started drinking, what did it start socially, and then every time you felt that the brunt of that pain, you picked up a glass of wine or maybe something even stronger? Is that how it happened? Was it first just social, or let me just get a glass of wine or whatever, and then it just progressed? How did it get to that point?
Um, and with my book in particular, I'm so glad that's a great question because I'm actually shedding light also on binge drinking.
Oh.
And that was my issue. See, I wasn't the type of person who woke up needing alcohol
Mhm.
or I was hiding it and things like that. My case was I didn't have to touch alcohol all week. I would
Mm.
go to work, took care of the family.
She'll pop back in. Okay.
So binge drinking was the issue for me. And that's what I was just shedding light on as far as the danger even in that. See,
Right.
people don't think it's a problem if they're not drinking all week and say, oh, I only drink on the weekend. but are you still being responsible?
Hmm.
And that's what I had to shed light on to say that's when I was most irresponsible, was
Hmm.
Friday through Sunday.
And so during that binge drinking process, it became a habit or maybe abusive because you look forward to that every weekend and you weren't able to get around it or stop. Is that
Right.
correct?
That is correct. And then you start to look for a reason to drink. Oh, I
Mhm.
had a hard day. I need a drink. Oh, I had a great day. Let me celebrate with a drink.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. So if it was a good day or if it was a bad day, it was an excuse to have that drink.
that's
What
right.
you're saying. So, and I think it's one of those things. If you have to have, if you're finding reasons to do it, then you are probably along that path of possibly becoming abusive. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, and if you're finding it to kind of cover up something or to make you, if you feel something, let me grab this so I can feel better. And I'm not saying that everyone that does that is in a state of being abusive. That's not what
Right.
I'm saying. But there are some people who, really can't hold alcohol in that manner. And if you're
Mhm.
using it as a band-aid or if you're using that as a resolve to a problem or an issue, then that's something I think to take a look at. So, Christine, when was it when you realized that it became a problem?
Unfortunately, and I think a lot of people, even say if you're not necessarily, it's not denial, you
Mm,
tend to want to like try to negotiate with yourself. I knew off the rip I had a problem.
mm,
I started drinking my senior year in high school, and I was showing up to school on Monday hungover.
mm,
It started to I was an athlete. It started to affect how I performed.
right,
So I knew off the top that I had an issue because I wasn't operating to my full potential.
mhm. So you could tell that you were off kilter at the times that you were drinking. And so I think that's very important because
Yes.
when you can identify that you're off kilter, that helps with getting the help that you need.
Right.
So, do you feel like if you weren't an athlete, or if there weren't some things in your life that you can gauge, do you think it would have been harder for you to identify or even to own up to the fact that you were an alcoholic? Okay, she's gonna come back, guys. It's just kind of I think where she is just the
I started hitting some very hard bumps in the road. Is how I had to be able to address it. I totaled a vehicle. I received a DUI. I mean, 2 blocks from my house, 2 blocks away from my house. And I feel like that was literally, that's God. Like, hey, I didn't, you know how there's that grace,
right.
but I didn't understand about the grace and I abused it because I actually I was given chances,
Mm,
where I might have gotten pulled over before and an officer gave me a warning, but I didn't take heed to that warning. So the next time I'm getting pulled over and actually receiving a DUI.
mm,
And that was heartbreaking because every time I did it, it's like I'm telling myself I'm better than this.
right.
But I would repeat the cycle.
Okay, she'll pop back in, guys.
I knew the problem was there, but I had to do some real life changing things,
Mhm,
top to bottom. And it wasn't just a matter of saying, you know what, I'm going to stop. I'm talking about from the circle of friends,
right.
relationships with family, my relationship with God, first and foremost. But at the time, I didn't have one. And I have to be very bold about, and I didn't do it by myself. And so I have to always make sure I'm very vocal that God had everything to do with this victory.
Mhm,
So never will I take God out of this testimony and my story because he's all up in it. And I know even till this day how I even handle this business. I can't do it without him.
right. Right, and I think it's good I like the fact that you're transparent, with this because you're helping someone, And so, and I'm going to ask everyone, I'm going to stop now and ask everyone who's listening here tonight, make sure that you're taking this live and you share it with your network of friends. Because the old statement, check on your friends because they're not okay, or it's okay with being not okay. There are people, we may have 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 friends that we're connected with on Facebook, those subscribers you have on YouTube. You are connected to a lot of people, and there's a percentage of people on your live who's dealing with the same issue, who has some substance abuse, who are alcoholics or who drug abusers. They need to know that there is a way of escape. They need to know that there is an opportunity that they can be free from this, and they cannot be riddled, or they don't have to be paralyzed with this demonic force of abuse of alcohol and drugs. They
That's
don't
right.
have to go down that path. And so what I like that you're saying, Christine, is that you didn't do it by yourself,
That's
right?
right.
And you don't have to be alone. She knows at a young age when she depended on God to pull her out of that hole. It was there that she found that there was someone who loved her more than she loved herself. And so that's why I'm asking you, please share this live because it's going to help some people. And so you were a teenager, I guess you could say. If you said high school,
Yeah.
Christine, you were a teenager.
Yes.
You
And
don't find too many people. When you think of alcohol or alcoholism, you're thinking of an older person. And
yeah.
so, and maybe it's something that we as adults need to look a little deeper into, because we think, oh, they're just young. That's just what young people do. And so I think we're kind of turning our eye to something that we really need to bring more attention to. And
Yeah, absolutely.
do you feel you're around adults, Christine, that just did not take this seriously?
Um, yes, I do. I feel like there's a lot of people who mock me. They make fun. They call me boring, or I'm holier. Like, oh, now you're holier than thou. I get all of the little cracks that they do, and at the same time, I laugh it off. But in the beginning, it really bothered me because it's like I was a people pleaser. I needed everybody to like me. And once I made this change, it was really hard when you got people saying you're lame now,
Mhm.
or you're lame. All she do is talk about God and this how she overcame alcohol. So there's a lot of judgment that comes with putting yourself out there.
Mm,
But at the same time, I have to say, just the same as there are people judging,
right.
there are people who thank me for being transparent because they're dealing with the same thing
Mhm.
or something. It may not be alcohol, and you've mentioned that it doesn't have to be alcohol for you. It could be something else that's a stronghold. Well, how do we get over those things and through them, and stop trying to avoid or feeling like it's bigger than us? It's time to address these things because God wants so much for us.
Right.
We can't allow those situations to rob us.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's why I said, no, it's my job. I feel a way when I know people say they overcame something, but you don't give people the tool to overcome it.
Right.
Hold that thing to yourself.
Mhm.
And I think that's very selfish. We tend to do that with some of our testimonies. I understand some we could be proud. There's a lot of things I don't share,
Right. Rightfully so.
but
Right.
this thing here, I understand that it's going to save lives.
Mhm.
So this is that thing where God said, being able to be a kidney donor, that wasn't no coincidence. It wasn't no by happenstance. That was a God thing. Because I'm talking about 10 years worth of abusing this body with alcohol.
Mm.
But I was able to take this same body and bless somebody with life. Now, I'm talking about when I said how them lab tests came back, I'm talking about like no discrepancies. There were no issues
Wow.
with my lab work. I was a perfect match.
Mm.
So when I saw that post and God spoke to me and said, "You are his donor," we had no issues, no hiccups.
Wow. And just think, had you not made that decision so many years ago to stop, it would have put you out of alignment to be able
Yeah.
to help Jerome. So a lot of times the decisions that we make in life, it doesn't have anything to do with that right now moment. It can be out of your obedience, it sets you up for something else great along the way or years later, which is what happened with you.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so excited. And I have twins. Someone came in that mentioned that your testimony will free folks. Continue to be transparent. God will get the glory. And
Thank you.
that is so true. So, guys, please share, share, share this post to your network of friends. We're out here wanting to help people. And that's what we do inside the Ladies Room Talk Show. You know, I call myself the Kingdom Concierge, meaning that I believe that I'm called to bring information to people that can help. People have questions about things that can help. And so I'm so honored, Christine, that you are here tonight because
Thank you.
truly this is going to help some people, even people who are closet alcoholics that no one knows, some
Yeah.
functioning alcoholics, that people are truly functioning alcoholics. That's just what they do. And so there's a better way for you, and you don't have to allow um, artificial substances to control your life.
That's
And
right.
so I want to your books, Christine. How much are your books?
They're $15. They're 15 if you were to like purchase and pick up here on location, or it's 20 if I am to ship to you.
Okay, very good. What I want to do is I'm going to give it until probably tomorrow, 24 hours. If you inbox me, the first two people that inbox me from this broadcast, I will purchase that book for you. And I only ask Christine that you will autograph that for them.
Okay.
Because I would like an autograph and maybe an encouraging word from you. I think
Okay.
that'll be great to have an encouraging word from the author. I'm going to purchase two books from Christine, and I want to bless two people with this book. So the first two people who reach out to me on inbox, or you go to my direct messenger, let me know, hey, I need to be blessed. Hey, I'm an alcoholic. I need to be blessed. Go ahead and inbox me that. The first two people will get those books. That's a signed autograph book by the author, Christine Law, because we want to help you and we
Yeah.
want to be able to bless you with this, Christine. I'm so excited. I don't want to hold you much longer, but I do would like to know if you could give an encouraging word for someone out there who is either dealing with some form of substance abuse, either it's alcohol, it's prescription drugs, or um, illegal drugs, or you're addicted to something. It could be pornography. It could be anything that's out there that you are addicted to and you want to be free from that. Christine, I'd like for you to share some encouraging words to them. And what I'm going to do is bring you front and center so that
Okay.
you can share those words. And then I'll join you again with the live and then we'll end with that. Okay. Can you do that for
Okay.
me?
Sure.
All right.
I truly believe when we're dealing with things such as addiction, or we have something that is a stronghold over us, I need you to understand that your purpose is under attack. There is something great inside of you that is under attack, because thieves do not come to an empty house. And all that is inside of you, this world needs. So I need you to get it together. I need you to get it together because I need you. The things that I'm trying to do out here, I cannot do it by myself. So I need other leaders, trailblazers, people who are bold about their faith. And just because you are dealing with this right now, you're standing here looking at somebody who didn't give up. And I'm telling you right now that it's possible. And just because you might be feeling like you're in a, you are still worthy. God still sees you worthy. He still sees you as someone who is valuable. So the perception of you, I want you to change that perception and understand that you are worth it. And that there are people out here who support you. They support your journey and they're here for you. You have the victory. You have the victory.
I love it. Thank you, Christine.
Thank
Yes,
you.
guys. Oh,
Thank
she left us with this, guys. You have the victory. And
Amen.
that can be for anybody. It can be for those people who she was talking to directly. It can be for those of you who are having challenges in your life and you've dealt with issues along the way and dismayed and you're hurt and disappointed. Friends have left you. People are
Yeah.
not no longer in your corner that used to be there. You have the victory. You're not in this alone. God said that He will never leave us nor forsake us.
That's
And
right.
Christine is a direct testimony of that, that He took her hand and led her to another way of life, and that's a life of deliverance and being set free. So,
Yes.
Kristen, thank you again for hanging
Thank
out
you.
with us today. What an amazing testimony. I need to get with you, so hang on tight. I'm going to go ahead and get that purchase from you and go ahead and get those books. Guys, go ahead and share this out with your network of friends. And remember, the first two people who go into my DMs, I will bless you with it. The first two people, and we will make an announcement on my page that you are the winners of those two books. So I want to be able to bless some people, and I want this live to bless some people too. So go out there, share this live on your network. Let's bless the people. Let's help some folks out there. There are more and more people out here who are dealing with issues and high anxiety and stress and worrying. We want people to be set free. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me inside the Ladies Room Talk Show. And we'll be right back here next week at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Good night.